Pearson Ravitz' story begins with Dr. Stephanie Pearson, a passionate OB/GYN at the height of her career. But when a shoulder injury struck during a precipitous delivery, her dreams were shattered, leaving her unable to practice medicine. Determined to make a difference, Stephanie became an advocate for her peers, guiding them through the complex disability process. Alongside insurance expert Scott Ravitz, Stephanie founded Pearson Ravitz, a company determined to approach insurance differently. Together, they set their mission to educate and empower physicians to protect their most valuable asset, their income, and the most important people in their life, their family. Today, Pearson Ravitz serves the medical community in all 50 states. At Pearson Ravitz, they understand the unique concerns of physicians. Physician-founded and physician-focused, Pearson Ravitz builds human connections before they create quotes. Life can change in an instant. It's hard to imagine that a sudden illness or injury could leave you and your family in a devastating financial situation. But with a little planning and guidance, you can prepare for every possibility. Visit PearsonRavitz.com today to schedule your consultation with the Pearson Ravitz advisor.
Finally, a source of raw, real, and honest information on healthcare issues that matter most. Welcome to BS Free MD. From the latest medical information to how to stay sane as a doctor or a patient, no subject is taboo, no BS is allowed. Now, let's welcome your hosts, Doctors May and Tim Hindmarsh.
Okay, here we go. Another truth bomb. May's got this one. We're going to talk about things that are really important that make your life better or something like that, or potentially something else.
Way to wreck a really good truth bomb.
It'll be good.
That intro.
It'll be good. It'll be good. It's just, it's like that. It's like that church we used to go to where the pastor's like, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, that's right. God, Jesus, and stuff.
Well, we're talking today, at least what's on my heart, Tim, is about living in the moment. And I'm just, throwing this out there. I want to know, do you have trouble living in the moment? Like, who does? I think a lot of people do. I don't think I'm alone. And I really got thinking about this lately in the last couple of weeks that I wouldn't say just even weeks. I would say the last couple of months since our son has been home with us. And then, of course, with the move across the country that he's helped us with, and he's been staying with us, being here. And so here we are. We're moving.
Since he's been living, it's irritating because I actually have to wear pants. That part, I like having him around, but the having to wear clothes.
It's shaking up your vibe, Tim. You got to readjust.
And understanding that you live in a neighborhood, so when you go outside, you actually need to wear clothes.
Yeah, well.
So somehow in this gated community, peeing on your front lawn is frowned upon.
Yeah, we're not living in the drunken moment. We're talking about.
No, like when you lived on 8.5 acres, it's just, the world.
It was
your urinal.
It was a different world. So for me, I've always, being the type A personality that I am, I'm always focused on tasks and things to get done and listen in my head, and being the commander, CEO, and chief of the household. And I'm a woman. Women always have all these things on their mind, the groceries, the list of stuff to do. You get where I'm going with this. That I'm always focused on the things that need to get done and the plan. And when something comes in, tosses me a little side ball, a curveball, a foul, it's hard to readjust. And I like to be spontaneous, but kind of like, okay, let's go to dinner here, kind of a spontaneous, or let's try this vacation, take this side trip here. But day to day, I really don't live in the moment, and really started thinking about it a lot this summer when our adult son came home to spend time with us between career paths. And, we had all this crap to do with packing and moving. And I really cherished the fact that he was with us and would learn to just stop and sit and not have to rush to do things. Like after dinner to get these things done, but just to sit and talk and just listen and share and watch TV and just tell stories and be with him, because that's precious time that I won't get back. And I started to recognize that. But even more so now that we've moved across the country, and we didn't even talk to each other on the drive, 3 separate vehicles. And I thought, oh, maybe we'll be like walkie-talkies and chatting and FaceTiming. And no, of course,
That
we
would
were all
actually
listening
be
to.
incredibly irritating.
I'm kidding. It was all, we were all living our own life in our own vehicle, listening to our own podcasts and listening to, classic literature, right? Anyway, now that we're here and I have boxes upon boxes of crap and we're stepping over shoes around our bed and the closet's too small for all our clothes and I'm trying to organize and there's crap everywhere and I feel like I'm still living in someone else's house. I'm taking a deep breath. I'm letting it go because of a lifetime to get it organized, but I only have a few more precious weeks with our adult son who's really just visiting here, and that probably might not happen ever again. So I really have been touched, blessed, and God's put it upon me that I need to let it go, live in the moment now.
But don't sing that song.
I will not.
When that song is played, puppies die.
I will not. Okay. So you hear what I'm saying is really, it's been, normally that's very hard for me, but I think it really hit me in the face and I'm able to just sit outside with them in our beautiful little backyard that's, bare on our 2 chairs, enjoy the sun and just have fun being with them and let all the stuff go. So I don't know. I think I like to tie it all in there with the whole Thanksgiving theme that's coming up. I mean, I'm thankful that we have them with us because most people don't get that. And living in the moment is tough to do. I mean, if you're type A like me, or if you're just not even, some people just don't even sit down and really think that they're going to get that. They think they're just going to get that chance again. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think if you look at the statistics, the amount of time you spend with your children, assuming that that's a priority, the amount of time you spend with your children from 0 to 18, you will spend less time, and if you're lucky, equivalent time from 18 till you're dead.
Yes, I remember hearing that.
So that's it, man. Like once the arrow leaves the bow, assuming you raised independent, hardworking people, which is kind of the goal. I mean, I really don't want a 40-year-old living in my house. Then, if you did what you're supposed to do as a parent, which is not to raise children, but to raise adults, then you don't see them.
Exactly.
So, like you do, but and it's not the same. They're supposed to have their own life. Like the whole idea was that you release them to become their own person, not that they remain dependent on you. I mean, that's when you see that, it's gross. It's adult babies.
And so now I guess just living that now, it's really given me pause to reflect and think about it like every day when I'm doing stuff, because sometimes I just get so caught up in my own brain of tasks and things to do. And I was working today outside, writing the email newsletter. Our young pool boy comes along and he stops and we start chit-chatting and I'm like, I gotta hurry. I gotta get this newsletter done. I'm on this time crunch. But then he started to, talk about his kids. I was sharing pictures of them for Halloween and how they're all dressed up. And I thought, yeah, this is really important to him. I want to see those kids. I want to sit and talk to him because he's got a few minutes to spare. This newsletter will get done. And he started talking about his church and we started sharing and it was like, okay, God wants you to connect to people in that moment instead of just like, yeah, I'll do it next time, or I'm busy and it's not really that important. And so I'm starting to get much better. I've got a long ways to go, but even when I'm going down the street and passing a neighbor who kind of wants to stop and chit chat for a minute as they're walking their little dog, it really gives us a chance to connect and live in that moment. And so I guess I just wanted to throw that out there because I know a lot of people get distracted easily, but there's a bunch of us who get so hung up on getting the thing accomplished or this task list that means nothing, that it's either just what's the word I'm looking for? It's just stuff, or it's just I've lost the word for it.
Well, how much of what you're experiencing now is because we actually live in a different place where people aren't going 9 trillion miles an hour all the time? You know, not like rural Oregon was super high intensity like New York City, but at the same time, you know, they're like, you're connecting with people now. I mean, we do way more. We leave our house way more than most of the neighbors.
Right.
And you know, it's just like one of our colleagues from the conference we were at recently asked, you know, because he lives in Los Angeles, and he said, like, I can't believe how chill Florida is. Is urban Florida not deranged? Well, I don't know. I don't know what Jacksonville's like. I don't know what Miami's like. I'm sure they all have their deranged part, but what we've experienced is the what. And I've talked to other people that have moved to other parts of the country. The West Coast of the United States is not friendly.
Right. Well, that's for another Truth Bomb episode, but for now
it is. So, but it adds to this living in the moment. Like, part of the reason you realize that you're living in the moment is because you've done a whole bunch of hard work coming up to this point. We got rid of a whole bunch of stuff. You've realized how much stuff doesn't mean to you. You have accomplished a bunch of goals and know that it doesn't really matter because there's so many more to accomplish. And then you're put in an environment where, like, the pace of life is different.
Well, and people actually want to take the time to meet you, to know you, to get to know you. And you're right. People want to connect more and really care and learn about you. So,
I mean, I think that makes a massive difference.
So obviously, family, best friends, your network, you know, usually comes first and is most important. But I just want to remind everybody, don't be afraid to just sometimes sit down, let the dishes pile up because they'll always be there. Let the pile of books and candles and clothes and shoes and laundry, it'll get done. Sometimes you just need to sit on the floor and play with your littles, or sit down and have a great conversation with your adult kids or your neighbors or your friends, because connection is precious. And that's what we're here for. And the time you can't get back, and the stuff will always be there. So live in the moment.
Bombs away.
Now, a final word from our sponsor. At Pearson Ravitz, they understand that life can change in an instant. It's hard to imagine that a sudden illness, injury, or catastrophic event could put you and your family in a devastating financial situation. Physician-founded and physician-focused, Pearson Ravitz builds human connections before they create quotes. Visit www.pearsonravitz.com today and embark on a journey of safeguarding your future. It's no secret that medicine is a bit uptight. That's why Tim and I created BS Free MD, to mix things up a little and have fun in the process. Besides, we are having these exact same discussions all the time, so we thought we might as well invite everyone to the party. If you really like us, you can get plenty more, and maybe see one of Tim's cool tattoos on our Instagram or Facebook pages at BS Free MD. See you next time.
Well, we try to keep BS Free MD as raw and real as possible. We can't be held responsible for any medical decisions or discussions had as a result of what you've heard on the show. We know, bummer. But the truth is, we really do care about your questions. So feel free to reach out to us by email at doc@bsfreemd.com.